Hey y'all, it's your girl Diamond. I'm back with another video. So today we are in the library and I'm studying for my final exam. I'm trying to knock out as many as I can because these next couple of weeks, your girl is not going to be talking to y'all that much. I may not even have a daily life, to be honest. I'll be working my butt off because I'll be on spring break. And I know that sounds really like blah, but being in nursing school, having a week and a half off from school, I need to take that time to work as much as possible because these next 8 weeks that are coming up, your girl's about to be like in the books, reading, having everything. But I wanted to talk with you guys because I've gotten so many questions on my TikTok and on my Instagram about my work in the life as a CNA and a QMA. So I'm going to be talking with y'all about that today. So if you want to hear more about that, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so that way you don't miss any of these videos, and let's dive into it. So I have been a CNA since 2014. I graduated high school in 2014. You can quit with the mathematics. Yes, your girl's knocking on 30 and I look good, okay? Let me back up. I got accepted into nursing school in 2019 in the state of Indiana. I clearly accepted, like hello. And then I started in 2020. Now 2020 is when everything stopped in the world pretty much. And it threw everything for a spin and it was not good, okay? Nursing school was very much so hard. It was not easy by any means and it threw off a lot of things. I decided to stop nursing school in the summer because I didn't feel like I was getting my full education. No slack to the school whatsoever. But going predominantly online when the school is based on being 100% in person was very difficult for me, especially with dealing with test anxiety. We had lockdown browsers where if you were taking the test like this and the camera is like up here and it's looking at you, and if you look down or look over and you're fidgeting, because I have to fidget when I test so I can focus, it will assume that you're cheating. It assumes that you're looking at things, and I don't do that. Literally have an A in my class right now, and I fidget. My instructor sees me fidget the entire time. I sit at the edge in the front, the edge of the desk, at the front of the desk on purpose, so that way they can see that I'm fidgeting with like an eraser or something in my hand and I'm not cheating. Not to mention our book bags and stuff are outside the classroom, so you obviously can't cheat. But I have to do that to focus. I have very bad test anxiety. So for the remainder of 2020 and also 2021, I did travel CNA and travel nursing is what they deem it all as under the umbrella. I got my QMA in 2021 technically because I became pregnant in 2021 with my nugget. This is her right here. And me and my husband were very happy, very excited, but a lot of stuff was going on during that time, clearly with COVID, so it was a lot to take in. She was born in 2022. It is now 2025, and I'm in the nursing program once again, and I'm doing very well. I got my QMA when I found out I was pregnant because I wanted to make more money and not work crazy hours. What do I mean by crazy hours? Let me explain. As a CNA in majority of the states, you do not get paid more than 22 an hour, and that's with shift differential at best, without being with the agency. In North Carolina, when I was working as a CNA, I do not recall making more than 15, if that, maybe 17, but I highly doubt I ever made 17, to be honest. And I was working 3 jobs. I worked as a home health aide, which means I had a certificate by the state of North Carolina to work in people's homes and take care of them. I graduated with my CNA in high school, so that way I can work in a nursing home, long-term care facility, assisted living, things of that nature to take care of people, rehab facility, and that was going specifically well. My now husband got a job offer for Indiana. We came out here. He loved it. I loved it. I had to figure out how to work out here. We were not married at the time, and knowing the person that I am, I'm like, I love you so much, babe, but you know I'm not the sit at home while you work type, and he knows that as well. So I got my CNA transferred over to the state and I started working. CNA means Certified Nursing Assistant. It means that I assist the nurses. So I get their vitals, I do the bed baths. I do not assess the skin, but I observe the skin while I'm giving them a bed bath to see are there any cuts, tears, bruises, wounds, anything like that. Anything that looks abnormal, I tell the nurse about. I help feed them. I help clean their teeth, real or fake. I help get them ready, dress them if they need help. Now, some people don't need help with these things and they don't want that, and that is their right. They can tell me no. I am just licensed or certified to do those things. And that was very beneficial, very rewarding, and also can be very stressful and very heartbreaking because you see all the different sides of healthcare. You see hospice, even if they don't have hospice care or hospice aides and workers. You, as a CNA, you help them with end-of-life care. You help them with that as well. You make sure that the family is comfortable, that the patient is comfortable. If there is a change that the nurse needs to be notified on, you tell the nurse, and the nurse will call to the doctors accordingly. I got my QMA, which is a qualified medication aid, which means I can work the medication cart in assisted living, long-term care, prisons, things of that nature, to not only assist the nurses but also help. It is an expansion of my CNA license, so that way I can do more and learn more. I love my QMA because it allows me to learn the medications, their side effects, see how they work firsthand. It also allowed me to see that if I truly wanted to go more forward with nursing, which I recommend everybody do, if you want to be a nurse or you want to be a doctor or something of that nature, I recommend you get in on the grunt work or the groundwork, because CNAs do a lot. A lot of times they see the patient more than the nurse does because the nurse has 42 people to take care of, let's say in theory. There's usually 3 or 4 CNAs that break up those 42 patients. So we have like 6 to 8 people, maybe 10. I'm not doing math right now. I'm just not. My math class has not started yet. So we see them more. We can tell her what's going on. When we do that, she can make a note of it, contact them, follow up on them, contact the doctor, things of that nature. I love being a Q because I love what I found out. I love the information and I love helping people, and I love medications. It definitely told me that I definitely wanted to learn more about nursing, so I am in nursing school right now. A lot of people have questions about the agency side of things, so let me tell you about that. There are pros and cons to everything in life. The pro to working as an agency person is that I have the flexibility to do what I want. The con is that I have the flexibility to do what I want. The pro is that while I'm in nursing school, I can work around my nursing school schedule. What does that mean? Next 8 weeks, starting March 17th, I have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Clinicals are on Wednesday. So that's 12 hours out the day. If I was at a regular job, I would have to figure out how to convert my schedule around everybody else's schedule, whose lives have not changed. They're still the same. So I have clinicals that'll be changing repeatedly throughout the year. Like in the summertime, I think our clinical days are Thursday, Friday from what I saw on our schedule. This 8 weeks is Wednesday. A typical job would have a difficult time trying to figure out people to work the hole that I'm now creating in their schedule. Working agency, I tell them, hey, my availability these next 3 months, I can work Tuesday, Thursday, and the weekends. Anything outside of that, I can't do. Knowing myself personally, I give myself one designated day in the library. So this next 8 weeks is going to be on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, I'll be in the library. I'll be reviewing, studying, homework, quizzes, whatever it needs to be done. It'll be on Tuesdays. Whatever I don't get finished on Tuesdays, I make sure I go to the school early on Friday or that Thursday, so I can keep everything together, so that way I don't have to worry about things getting too off track or sidetracked, and I stay on course. A con with it is that I have the freedom to work whenever I want to. So if I limit myself to only working 1 day a week, that's what I get paid. And I don't have anybody saying like, hey, you're kind of short on your hours. You don't want any other hours. It's easy to lose track of that. Also, I am in charge of my timesheets. So if I forget to send in my timesheet, I don't get paid. If I send in my timesheet late, I don't get paid. I have paper timesheets, and that can easily get messed up and damaged. So having a bunch of folders, no matter how dramatic or crazy they look, is easier to manage. You don't want them folded or crinkled or anything like that, because then the agency will say, hey, this is hard to read. I need you to write it over, get them to sign it again, and resend it. The problem with that is that sometimes the facility can be an hour to 2 hours away from me, depending on the shift that I took. And yes, I have traveled 2 hours away, but they also pay you handsomely for it, which is another pro. Each building that I work has a different pay rate. So depending on the building, the status that you are, meaning CNA, QMA, LP, and RN, even nurse practitioners and physicians, you get paid differently per building. One building could be 27 and 15 minutes away. One building could be 32 and it's an hour away. But if you're going to be there for an 8-hour shift, I would recommend going to one that's 15 minutes away. If you're going to be there for 12 or 16, then the $32 an hour one isn't that bad because you get your gas money back and you're not traveling as much. With agency, I also have the option of getting paid daily, which I truly appreciate. It comes in clutch, especially having a toddler. Sometimes I may need an extra pack of diapers and she just had diarrhea that day and I don't have time to wait like 2 weeks to get paid. Or if I have an emergency or we're going out of town, for instance, and I want the money to go out of town, I can pick up 3 days in a row and have my money every single day that I wake up. And it feels so good to hear that cha-ching in your account and be like, hey, you just got paid for your 12-hour shift you worked last night. It makes you feel good versus waiting 2 weeks to get paid. Now, there are some that have weekly pay option, and I'm still trying to get used to that because I've been with daily pay for years now. It's hard to get used to once you get paid daily. A lot of people don't do the daily pay, and that's okay. Some people do the daily pay, but they lock their pay card. I have done that for a couple of months when I was saving. That way I transfer out the money that I need and I leave the money in there that I can spend there. So that's where I see it as a benefit. What is another con? Another con is that you can be canceled at any time and the facility has the right to do so. So they have to cancel you within 2 hours of your shift. So let's say I pick up a shift at the top of the month. Today is March 3rd. If I pick this up February 10th, they can cancel me February 2nd, technically at 6 o'clock in the morning. If I'm scheduled to work at 8 o'clock, they're within their time frame window. So they don't have to pay me anything. However, if they wait until an hour to cancel me, they have to pay me 2 hours show up pay. Now, if you're scheduled to work a 12-hour shift, you just lost 10 hours worth of work. If you're scheduled for an 8-hour shift, you lost 6 hours worth of work. The only benefit to that is that you may get a late call. So a late call means that, let's say you were out and you got a stomach bug from some bad sushi and you had to call into work. Cool. Now your job has noted like you called off, called in sick, whatever. You use your PTO, you recover, you get better, you still get paid. Someone like me who's working agency, they get a phone call. Hey, we just had a call out at this building. The pay is $30 an hour. It started at 6 a.m., but now it's 7. You have an hour to be there, so 8 o'clock. Can you do it? The shift ends at 2. So I lost 2 hours of pay, but now I'm about to get paid an entire 8-hour shift. Remember of that cancellation that we talked about earlier? So I can get paid for an entire 8-hour shift and only work part of the shift. That happens for CNAs, QMAs, RNs, all of that. And it is amazing and I love it. Late calls, you have to show up within an hour, I do believe I said that, of your acceptance of the shift. Not when you saw it, when you call them and say, hey, I can do this shift. When you call and tell them that, that's when your clock starts. Technically, it doesn't officially start until they send you a confirmation email saying like, hey, you accepted this late call. This is the time that we have in the system saying you accepted it. So you have to read that to give yourself time. I've had that happen to me plenty of times. They're like, oh, no, you're late. I'm like, no, I'm not actually. I accepted this shift at 8:32. It took me 45 minutes to get here, so I'm here on time. You had a late call. So also on a late call, you have to write on my timesheet, late call, the time I arrived and the time that I left. Now with the late call, I'm not obligated to take a lunch because I'm not working 8 hours. It also depends if I have time to, because a lot of times on a late call, I'm playing catch up because no one was doing this job before I got here. So now I have to work double time for it. What else? Everybody wants you to take a lunch break in agency world, but a lot of times you honestly don't get one. There have been times I've worked 10 hours and I've just taken my first 15 because sometimes the buildings are so chaotic that they just need help. A lot of times the buildings are just so far out that they don't have enough people in the area to work it, so they rely heavily on agency just to have their building fully stocked. And I am well aware of that. and I don't mind it. A lot of those buildings are very friendly, they're very nice, they make sure that you are well taken care of. They'll give you coffee, they'll give you bottles of water, sometimes they'll bring you snacks. It just depends because they want you to feel comfortable and they want you to come back. The downside, another one, is that a lot of people do not like agency in their building because they know agency makes more than them, and that is not our fault. Agency is contracted out to where you reach out to a company and say, hey, we're having trouble, we need some nurses, we need some CNAs, we need a receptionist, because yes, they do have travel receptionists, and they literally make a deal that they pay them per person. So we need CNAs. Okay, well, our CNAs get paid, and I'm throwing out numbers, none of these are actual. CNAs get paid $25 an hour is the minimum. What are you going to pay our CNAs to come out here? And they said, well, if your hourly rate is $25, what is the company's rate? The company could, in theory, charge $75 per CNA that comes out there, which means the company makes $50 off the CNA going out there. Now, I'm a QMA, so if I get paid $30 an hour, the company could charge, let's say, $100. I'm just doing that to give you round numbers. If I'm getting paid $30 an hour and the company charges $100, they're making $70 off me going out there. So it benefits them having people of higher positions in their company. RNs can make $50, $80 an hour, I've seen sometimes, and that's not talking about time and a half. It honestly depends on the contract. So when I go to a building and they ask me, hey, what are you? What company do you work for? And I say, hey, yeah, I work for such and such agency. How much do they pay? I never tell them how much I pay because they get jealous, they get mad. They're like, well, we don't get paid that. I said, I have no idea what you get paid. And a lot of times people enter into these positions, they've been in these companies 10 years, they don't get raises, sometimes they're very frustrated, and they won't help you because they're like, well, you're getting paid $30 an hour to be out here, why should I help you? You get paid enough to figure it out. Now you're putting patients at risk because you don't want to help me, and that's perfectly fine. Tell me how they transfer. Tell me if they're thick in a regular diet. Tell me if they take their meds crushed or whole. I'll do the rest myself. I won't ask you for any more help, but you cannot give me the keys to the cart or give me a report sheet and then not tell me anything else about that patient. That puts them at risk. If you ever go to a building that's like that, you need to go to the person who's in charge and let them know, hey, you gave me this assignment to work. I have no problem working that assignment. However, the person you gave me who gave me a report for that assignment is not giving me the proper information to take care of these patients. If that person who's in charge cannot help you, then you need to call your agency and let them know, hey, I'm at this building, I got a report, they're not giving me a proper report, and they won't tell me how this person takes their medicines, crushed or whole, if they're thickened or thin liquid, what's their diet, how they transfer. I do not feel safe to take care of these patients. Your agency then will call the head of the building who they have the contract with and go to bat for you. Go to bat means they are telling them, if your people do not play ball with our people, we will pull all of our people from this contract and you will not have any of our people in the building. It is very serious because if something happens to where a patient is harmed in any way and you are left liable, they're like, well, you got report. No, I didn't. Well, who did you tell? I didn't tell anybody. Why didn't you tell anybody you got report? You must always CYA. Cover your assets, okay? You are your best asset. So if you do not have the proper information to take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So that is like a short term about agency world and everything like that. But I truly do love agency. I get paid weekly. I get paid daily. I also work with the prison. The prison is a separate contract. They have their own thing going on and we get paid every 2 weeks. But I can deal with that because I also have agency as well. So in theory, I get paid every week if I'm doing agency and the prison. As of now, I haven't gotten my schedule yet for the prison, but I do know that I do work there, so I'm just waiting for this month's schedule to come out. But with agency, like right now, I'm waiting for confirmation for 3 or 4 days throughout this month because, again, I have nursing school coming up that switches my schedule. I also have clinicals coming up, so I have to make sure that I have the flexibility and availability for my study time and everything else that entails. All this aside, I am also a wife. Me and my husband have been together since since March 1st of 2014, so we just made 11 years of being together. We've been married since 2020, so this year will be 5 years married, and we have a 3-year-old. And no, we do not have a dog, but I will do a get to know me video as well, so that way y'all can hear that story. But I have been yapping long enough. I need to get in here and get studying. If you have not already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share this video. Make sure you tell everybody. If you have any more questions about agency work, CNA, QMA, nursing school, please be sure to drop them down below. I love making these videos for y'all, and I can't wait to edit this and put this up. So see y'all next time. Bye.